morning, guys. This is Matt in the Man Cave with my beautiful wife, Tracy, from Esther 414 Ministries. Wow! And have coffees in hand. What is our verse of the day? Let's go here.
Exodus.
I'm going to tell a story after you tell the verse about some people yelling at me. It's a good story.
Exodus 20. We're
verse
in verse
3. Very simple verse, but a very profound verse.
One single sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You shall have no other gods before me.
Period.
Period.
Exclamation point. That's how it is.
That's
it's just like in your face. Several months back, I was talking about Abraham Lincoln and George Washington both being lost, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. And boy, you would have thought that I misquoted. I mean, really, because I got a lot of pushback. No, they weren't. They were saved. Well,
you are the Antichrist.
I am that's what they thought, okay? But I'm going to teach you something, and I'm not going to try to go long, but if it does go long, this is something that will help you, aid you, okay, and guide you in the end days.
Yeah.
What people are thinking. A lot of people, they don't understand why I said what I said. And here's what it is, okay? It's called religious pluralism or religious syncretism. Let me explain. Pluralism, okay? In religion, pluralism often refers to beliefs that many religions can contain truth and offer valid paths to God and ultimate reality. In Chicago, I live a few hours outside of Chicago. They have this big, gigantic altar statue with all of these pillars, and all of those pillars basically represent a religion. And what they're trying to basically manifest to the world is all these are going to the same place. All these different religions, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's, Confucianism, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, Hinduism, they all go, okay? Yeah. But that's not true, okay? That's pluralism, meaning all roads lead to Rome. Yeah. How do I say it? I always call it, what do I call it? I call it...
not this one. This one isn't that. Yeah,
okay,
the
but
next
so
one is.
They're talking about in the end, okay, when we're looking at the book of Revelation, this is one of the things that you are going to see is pluralism, okay? The blending, it's all going to work out, but they come up with what's called a universal belief system, religion.
Yeah.
That falls more into what's called religious syncretism, which is this. I like this about Christianity because Christianity talks a little bit about mercy and grace and God's love. And I like this about, Islam, and I like this about Buddha and Hinduism. And so religious syncretism is the blending, a combination of beliefs and practices, teachings from different religions. Do you know, right off the bat, okay, and if you know, make sure that you post that you knew, what prophet dealt with this the most? Happens to be my favorite prophet. It's Elijah. Okay, because Israel, was, saying they belong to the one true God. You read the text. What did it say? Have no other gods before me. And yet, with their time, they are spending time doing the rituals of Baal, of Asherah, of Moloch. And so what they were doing is pluralism and syncretism. Okay, they were doing both of those things, which is not good because God, here's the thing, you can take all the religions in the world, okay, and they can get along and go along, but not Christianity. Christianity is not a get along, go along. Christianity states that salvation is through one person only. Every other religion, they can compromise. You cannot... God the Father, who sent God the Son and sent God the Spirit, says, no, I will not have it any other way. Because if there was any other way, God the Father would have never sent His Son to die for our sins.
Yeah. And let me use a personal example, too. Before I met you...
Yes.
And you used to call this when you were preaching, buffet religion or buffet Christianity, where they would just go ahead and take the little things that they liked or whatever. Now, I didn't even know what Christianity was or anything like that, but in my mind, I had these different things. Oh, okay, so I like the idea of heaven, and I've heard about reincarnation, and then I learned about Darwinism in school, but I also heard about creation, Adam and Eve and Noah's ark and stuff, and I've seen this and I've seen that, and you come up with this idea of what you think works, and you don't know.
See, in society right now, they are pushing religious pluralism. I mean, they truly are. They are just pushing it like you would not believe. I was watching a video from Benny
Johnson.
Benny Johnson. Yeah. And he was showing an individual who is basically, I think, got the Senate seat. And this guy, he showed 3 clips of him, and one where he was denying basically the virgin birth. Another one which was saying abortion was okay. Another one was saying we need health plans for men for pregnancies. And he was saying all of these different ridiculous things. And Benny was going crazy because everything was just so blasphemous. But what Benny doesn't understand, and Benny, I believe, to be a Christian, what Benny doesn't understand is in the end it says that these individuals believe a lie, okay, and then swallow a delusion that God sends them. Yeah. So this individual who is saying that men can get pregnant and they need abortion pills for men, and that it's not slaughtering of kids, because they can't choose, and only when you can choose would it be slaughtering if they said, no, I don't want you to. And it was just a lot of it, but this guy truly believed all these weirdo things, okay? Yeah. But what has happened is he believed a lie of pluralism, synchronism. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? He's come up with what he thinks God is like, and his God, he basically said that God came and created the earth, but then left.
And, and we've seen this coming up so much more over the years of this, where we want to be more inclusive of everybody because we don't want to offend anybody. But in the meantime, you're offending a lot of people.
You're offending God. Religious pluralism is the idea that religions are equally true, and every path leads to God. All religions worship God, Matt. Don't you know that? Many roads to heaven. Truth is illustrated in different ways. But Jesus did not say this. That's why the Antichrist, the devil, is going against Christianity. Because Jesus said this. He's not just a great teacher. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. And he said that in John 14:6. The Bible consistently teaches the one true God and the one way of salvation through the Son. By no other means can men be saved. When we look at what I call cults, okay, all these different cults, guess what they are? They're pluralism in their beliefs. They're and now when we go and we look at who? George Washington, okay? He didn't talk about Jesus, okay? He talked about a great architect. He talked about a deity. He talked about a power, okay? Same thing with Lincoln. Same exact thing. Lincoln's wife is doing seances, okay? A form of godliness, but deny the power thereof, okay? They believe that all roads lead to Rome. That's it. Now, that definition, because I tried looking up, on the AI, how many times did this guy point blank come out and AI says, I can't find a speech where he mentioned Jesus Christ, Lord, Savior, Master, anything like that. But I find lots of speeches where he talked about a higher power, an architect, a great author, and all these different things, which that is rejected. Even Einstein came along, okay? And he says, I know there's a God. We're living on the planet in the middle of an asteroid belt, in the middle of a universe at a 23-degree axis, X amount of miles away from the sun. I mean, look at, there is a God. But just acknowledging, okay, like the pluralist, or this, it's not enough. You have to believe in the person of Jesus Christ.
And, this isn't something that's new, that just suddenly starts coming along. Even the Apostle Paul, he was dealing with this on the Mars Hill. And that's in Acts 17.
Yeah, read that. That's interesting.
Just read a few verses here from that, starting in verse, let me see, where am I? Verse 22, 23, and he says, so Paul stood before the Areopagus and said, men of Athens, I see that you are very religious in all aspects. Yes.
Is that meaning I want to cover my bases?
Yeah.
That's what they want. I want to cover all my bases.
For as I went around and observed closely your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, to an unknown God. Therefore, what you worship without knowing it, this I proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it, who is Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by human hands, nor is he served by human hands as if he needed anything, because he himself gives life and breath and everything to everyone. From one man he made every nation of the human race to inhabit the entire earth, determining their set times and fixed limits of the places where they would live. So they would search for God and perhaps grope around for him and find him, though he is not far from each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
For in him we live and move about and exist, as even some of your own poets have said, for we too are his offspring.
Mm.
And that's just,
see, this is on, again, this is nothing new. Israel is doing this, okay? They want to worship God, okay? They want to worship the God that brought them out of Egypt, okay? But they love the practices connected to Baal. They really like the ceremonies, the rituals, okay? And so God sends Elijah, and Elijah says in 1 Kings 18 and 21, how long will you waver between two opinions?
Yeah.
If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him. I want to... People right now are blending rituals and different religions.
Yeah.
And some of these people, watch this, they say they're Christians. Because a lot of these false belief systems, they allow you to, all of these different beliefs to be in one room. I mean, the guy sitting next to me, he could be worshiping Allah. The guy over here could be a Mormon. The guy over here could be a Jehovah's Witness. The guy over here could be Hindu. You see what I'm saying? There is no common ground to that which rejects Jesus is Lord of all and the only way.
Yeah.
In 2 John, we have a perfect picture where they said, if they knock on your door and deny the deity of Christ, and that means that there is only one way to heaven. He says, have nothing to do with them. Don't wish them Godspeed. For in so, being a part of them and wishing them Godspeed, you take part of their curse.
Yeah.
That is
like
scary. See, you can't just stay in the middle, okay?
No,
pray to a universal God and think, hey, I'm okay. Okay, that has nothing to do with me. Actually, it has everything to do with you.
Yeah.
Because God said, what does light have to do with darkness? All other religions, okay, will allow you to blend like anything. I was even at Dunkin' Donuts, and I was witnessing to a man over a year ago about his God in Hindu. And he was telling me his God allows for all of the gods. His God allows all of these other gods basically to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I says, oh, no. I remember telling him, you're wrong. Because my God says to only worship him and him alone. I mean, these other people you're talking about, maybe they'll do it. But Christianity, Jesus, the Father, Jehovah, Adonai, Elohim, my God, all these different names describing the same God. He says no. Okay, so you better take my God out of your list, because every one of these other gods is going to bow the knee to my God. Every one of them. All these false teachers, these false prophets, all these belief systems, all these people who claim that they are serving this God or that God or this practice or this ritual, all knees will bow before King Jesus. Jesus bows to no one.
Well, he went into quite a few details and witnessing to this guy, so much so that, I mean, that all the people that worked there were of the same Indian religion that they ended up transforming out of the state because they didn't like Matt witnessing to this guy because he was starting to really listen. He'd go outside and listen to the devotions and take his smoke break when Matt was actually preaching at one of the tables and stuff.
Before he could have sex, he told me he had to go through this ritual of saying a name of his God like 90 to 100 times before and after. So imagine this. He had to say this special name before he had sex. And it actually took about 20 minutes. That kind of kills the passion. But he had to say whatever this was, this one deity, Hare Krishna or whatever it was. He had to keep on saying Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He had to do all of this crap, you know what I'm saying? Then he had to have this special washing. He had to have a special washing. I mean, you talking about, it was just, he was telling me about how if he wanted to get it on, what all the crap he had to do. And then afterwards, there was a special bath him and his girlfriend, or actually it was his wife, had to do. Well, let me ask you this. Name someone, an actress that's very famous. What's that Sweeney girl? She's all over the tabloids, isn't she?
Yeah.
Sweeney, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Jeans. She did the jeans for who was it? The company.
American Eagle.
American Eagle. Okay. Hey, who is it, Hannah? Sydney Sweeney. Okay.
Thank you.
Big chested, blonde hair. What if I told you, that I was at Dunkin' Donuts and she was just there getting a donut and a coffee and she was all over me. She was just staring at me and she was just like licking her chops. And you know what I'm saying?
She thought you were all that.
She thought I was everything. Look at marriage requires faithfulness. So I don't care about her or anyone else. I care about my wife because this is the woman sitting next to me that God has given me. And for you who don't know me, that didn't happen, okay? Look at our relationship with God requires spiritual loyalty. You cannot be a pluralist. You cannot take a part of this religion and that religion and this religion and this practice and that practice, okay? If you are a part of that, and that is becoming predominant in politics now because they are trying to cater to everyone, okay?
Yeah.
You are rejected. How do we know that? Matthew 7:21.
No.
In the judgment day, many come to me, this is Jesus, and they say, Lord, Lord, have we not done all these wonderful things?
In your name.
In your name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
God
says this, and it always eluded me. Why would God say this? Because they are actually, they know the name of God. They've obviously gone to church. They know a little bit of doctrine, a little bit of theology, and God says, I don't know you.
Yeah.
You go to hell.
You're blending all this stuff.
The early church, same thing. Because Rome believed in all the gods. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and so what we have here is, God taking his people out of Egypt, but it's hard to get Egypt out of the people. That's why we have the plagues. That's why you have all of these things, and the death angel being the last of the plagues.
Yeah.
Because God is showing them his power. Because they were believing in the crocodile, in the Nile, in the moon, in the stars, in Pharaoh, all these false deities, and there's nothing to them other than what's behind them, which is none other than Satan. Yeah. Satan loves to get people's focus onto many things because as you focus on many things, you exclude the one thing. So when you go to a group, to a church, because there's one right down the road, drives me crazy, the Universal Church, you have to realize, you have erased your name out of the Lamb's Book of Life. God does not take sloppy seconds, and he doesn't like leftovers. He gets what the Bible refers to as first fruits. He loves you. It's not his will that any should die and perish without saving faith. And he's done everything for you. But when you incorporate the things of this world trying to hedge your bet, guess what? You're a loser. So I was in Vegas.
Okay, can I just throw
Yes,
in,
you can.
Going along with your
I know,
plagues.
they're not going to drop off. They want to hear my Vegas story.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, you know that the plagues that you were going over, the 10 plagues, the 10th being the final thing. Do you know what that's a picture of? It's kind of like the Lord is showing this as a picture to resonate for eternity, and showing us what's going on here, that Satan can copy so many of God's things.
Oh,
and you have to be careful for those.
Because they copied the snake.
They copied all of it. Yeah.
Moses throws down the staff; it turns to a snake. But so does one of their magicians.
Yeah, exactly, and they could all do relatively all the same tricks that Moses was showing until the last one.
Up until a point
where what that shows is only God can hold life and death within his hand.
And the Bible actually says that they've made a covenant with death through Satan. Somehow they've made a covenant with death, and God says it's annulled. Your covenant with death, that's a joke. You know what I'm saying? I reject that.
Yeah.
In Acts 4:12, it says this: salvation is found in no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given to mankind by which we may be saved. We name that name as Yeshua, Jesus. The message went against the pluralist culture of Rome. It was just water and oil. Okay, here Rome is believing in all the gods.
Yeah.
They're having to kind of cater to the Jewish community, and Rome really came in heavy and hard. Meaning, my favorite sermon, the woman caught in adultery, thrown down in front of Jesus. And the Pharisees and Sadducees, the elite of the day, say this woman, was caught, watch this, in the very act of adultery.
Yeah.
Now, in the very act of adultery, according to the law of Moses, she should be stoned. That's really how it reads.
But not just her.
Yeah, him too.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because it takes two to tango.
Uh-huh.
All right. What do you say, Jesus? All right. But see, why they use the phrase "in the very act" is Rome was very specific. If you want us to put someone to death, you have to. It can't just be hearsay. It can't just be that fooling around with someone else in Roman law. That was encouraged. They're not looking down on that. That's all the gods,
Yeah.
Get your needs met. I mean, Nero was homosexual to the end. I mean, he was transsexual, homosexual. He was a fruitcake. So was Herod, okay? But they're saying this because there is a law that is superseding, the law that they believed, meaning the Pharisees had to submit to Roman law. So that's why they're saying, we caught, her in the very act. And Jesus comes up over the top, because they believed in all the gods and they had to submit.
And do you know what? Even back then, they're twisting different parts and different laws to work to their advantage.
Yeah.
Let's not put in the part there.
Not to pick on Vance, Vice President Vance. Vice President Vance, running as vice president with Trump, comes off as a very conservative Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, now watch it. His wife what is her religion?
Is she Catholic or?
I don't know what she is, but that doesn't matter. And then he decides after meeting the Pope that he now is going to become Catholic. We got a huge problem.
Yeah.
That's syncretism. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. What you're doing is taking yourself out, and being religious in nature. Syncretism, is it's what the Catholic Church does. Christianity is mixing, our core beliefs with superstition, culture traditions with biblical truth, spiritual practices with other religious blended things. So that's what what we see. All the fish hats, all the stuff they've made up about. They're taking commandments away. They're adding to the word. They're taking away from the word.
And then they added the apocrypha books, I believe they say. That
God requires a wholehearted commitment to Him alone. Him alone. Because there's a lot of people that I personally know, you personally know, who are a part of things, and they say that it I had a guy a year ago, really strong guy, I thought, and I did one devotion on something similar to this, and he came at me hard, says, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I will come back at him, he's no longer in the channel, and says, you don't know what you're a part of. You cannot be a part of an organization, a church, a belief system, which encompasses all beliefs.
Yeah.
We don't pray to a universal God.
No.
We pray to the one true God.
Yeah.
Both George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, okay, they denied Christ. That's what they did. You can look it up.
Yeah.
They were, both of them said, we're pluralists. We believe there's many ways to get to heaven. When you believe there's many ways, let me tell you what you don't believe, that Jesus is the only way.
Yeah.
That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It says Colossians 2:8. This is Paul. See that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophies, in teachings, in folklore, and all of this stuff that is out there. And when I was watching Benny the other day, I just couldn't believe that someone could be so stupid to believe that a man could get pregnant.
Oh,
I mean, you know, I couldn't believe it, you know, and so these people believe that atheists, Hindus, Jews, Muslims, Christians, they're all just a pillar, and then the other people, they come along and you know what, they're like, well, you know what, there's something good of all of them. We take the good. Like, have you ever seen these stickers that say coexist? No. I mean, I get along and I go along, but I'm not going to be coexisting with these people in heaven. They will all be going to hell. You have to choose sides. That's what Elijah said. Choose whom you will serve. The blending or combining of beliefs, practices, or teaching of different religions into one system is rejected by God. The Catholic Church has done that. They literally have done that. All of these other people, they've done that. Politicians, they've done that. They literally believe it works out. That's why 1 minute, this is what kills me. We saw several years back, it has been, where, what's the guy's name? It's that story with Amy Grant and this guy, and they're singing, you know, it's not, it's that song. What's the song? I you know, they just made a sequel to the thing.
I can only imagine.
I can only imagine. Okay, in that movie, okay, Bart's dad in that movie is
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. Okay. So Dennis Quaid does this. Dennis Quaid does a lot of Christian movies, On a Prayer and a Wing, and he comes out and he says, "Hey, I'm a Christian." Right. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. That's how it works. You know what? God takes you as you are and then starts transforming you, okay? And so I'm like, that is totally awesome, okay? And so for a while, I'm only seeing him in movies that are actually Christian related, or they're not filthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not filthy.
He played Reagan recently.
Yeah, he played Reagan. And so, and I was like, well, good for him. You know, maybe he truly is saved. And yet yesterday I'm watching a preview of a movie which has like tons and tons and tons and tons of language, in which he's actually pumping out the language in this movie.
Really?
Yes. So it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible is very clear about the spring. It's not, you're not going to have sweet water and bitter at the same time.
Yeah.
People have deceived themselves, and a lot of people have deceived themselves in thinking, well, God is gone. I'm doing the best that I can. God will accept me because I'm his creation. That is made up theology. That is not true. That just isn't true. And so those are the two things, you know what I'm saying, that we're running in today. This is the platform, okay, that the Antichrist eventually starts with. He starts with these two, okay? Yeah. But then he demands worship as if he is God. And he gets rid of the people and all the other religions and all the other people. So for a while, he's basically a pluralist. You know what I'm saying? Look at all roads lead to Rome. We can take a little bit of this and this and this and this, and he's promoting this. This is what he's promoting. But then he says, I was wrong. None of that. I am God.
Let's go deeper into that one, okay? The Antichrist, he's eliminating all the pluralism. Why is that? Because see, all these other religions, all the other pluralism, it only has one God, and that's Satan.
Yes.
Everything else is from Satan if it's not through Jesus Christ alone. Any other thing. And that's why he wants to eliminate all that. So now he's coming out and basically he's saying, all that was me. So now I want you worshiping me because that was me. Yeah. That was all about me, and now I want to now I'm getting my moment, okay? Because he said, I want to ascend. I want to be higher than God. And for a moment in time here on earth, he may be, because it talks about that narrow path. Broad is the way that leads to destruction, and boy, is it broad.
That's funny that you said that, because when I was looking up George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, it says both were pluralists, and both spoke in terms, about God in a broad manner. Broad is the way to destruction. Okay,
it does not lead to
over
heaven.
and over again they said providence, not Jesus, the Almighty, the Architect, the Supreme Being. They rarely, if ever, spoke. I'm quoting this. They rarely spoke publicly, if ever, about exclusivity of Jesus Christ. This was intentional. They did not believe he was the way. They didn't believe. They believed in many different ways. They believed in good moral conduct. They believed in bettering oneself. They believed in, you start here and you continue to get better. Here's my question. I have a question here, okay? Who are you going to present your better self to? I mean, that's my question. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they believed, that you needed to better yourself and get better and better and promote, basically be the best you could be. Okay. Who are you going to present this to? Who? I mean, is it just for this life? Because these people are so narrow-minded, because you can gain all the riches of the world in this life and lose out on the next life. You're not going to present, you're never going to present your best to God, and he's going to say, wow, you've done a great thing here. Because the only thing that looks good to God is God. I love that. I mean, honestly, I love the fact that nothing is acceptable other than the Son. I mean, nothing is. Many religions can live together in society. Many religions can, okay? Christianity cannot. Christianity says, all your false gods and all people who do not believe in me exclusive, you're going to bow the knee. Basically, right before you're sentenced to hellfire. Scary.
Let me go back a minute, and I don't know if you remember it or not. You were going to give a story about Vegas.
Vegas. Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to cover their bets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm watching. Back in the day, you could get a buffet for $5.99. You could get coupons for $3.99. And Tracy and I were always not gambling, but we were always getting the coupon books when we lived in Vegas. Man. And Tracy and I would drive we would
take them on the buffet.
We would get these coupon books with our passes, and we would get a buffet. Yeah. For $2.99, and I'm talking, it was prime rib, it was shrimp.
It was the good stuff.
Yeah, Texas had one of the best ones there.
At one time they did.
Caesars had a great one. Bellagio had a great one. But one day, as I'm waiting in this long line, to get into the buffet, and it's worth it, I'm watching this guy, and here's what he's doing, okay? He's roulette. I think it's 36 numbers, right? I think. I could be wrong, okay? But basically, just hang with me on the story. He's betting every single number, right?
Is he really?
You know what that is? He believes he's hedging his bet. Right. Now, if you bet every number and your number comes up on one of those numbers, basically you washed, right? Yeah, because it's 36-1.
Right.
Okay? But what ends up on there also is a 0 and a double 0, which has nothing to do with all the numbers. It's 0 and double 0. And so he pulls up a double 0. So he loses all of his money. That's what people are doing. They think they're hedging their bets. And that's what the people on Mars Hill were doing. Okay? We're going to serve all of the gods. Okay? There are no other gods other than Jehovah. You see what I'm saying? The triunity of God. Who you're worshiping is Satan. I mean, that's really who you're worshiping. The Hindu, Satan. Islam, Satan. Baal, Satan. You know what I'm saying? All these different cultures, belief systems. Like some people we know that their family lives in India, they said there's 1,200 different religions in India.
Oh my goodness.
1,200 different religions of what it's just made it up, okay? All Satan. Every bit of it. There's only the one true God, his Son, and his Spirit. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
And on Mars Hill, when they had for the unknown God, because they didn't want to make any God mad or offend him if they forgot him.
Yeah.
And the Apostle Paul's like, you not only offended him, you made him very mad, trying to make other gods equal to him.
Yeah,
basically.
you ever boo-booed? You ever crashed and burned? You ever made a bad decision?
Goodness.
I'll mention this one.
I'm not even going to put a number on how many times.
I can mention a word and you can mention a word, and we would know the story behind it. Let me mention this. Memphis.
Yeah.
Big one?
Memphis.
How big was it?
Oh,
big
huge.
Mistake. Don't go into it. Don't go into it.
Huge.
And you could mention one to me. You could say something to me and I would immediately know. April Fool's Day. Yeah, big mistake. Okay, so look at. I can work through that, and I can get through that with Christ, okay?
Yeah.
People don't understand what's on the line here. Eternity is forever.
Yeah.
There is no purgatory. That's a lie from the pit of hell.
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's pluralism. That's I always forget the name. It's syncretism. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. What they've done is they've taken what they want out of some foreign religion and they've applied it. Oh, we want this to apply. We want a second chance after I ruined the first chance.
Yeah, I like how this sounds. So I'm
like this.
If I believe it has to exist.
Yeah. One of the there's a movie that I sometimes watch, and it's a Navy SEAL movie, and it's fairly clean. It's with real Navy SEALs, and one of the statements at the very end of the movie is so idiotic, because throughout that movie they're taking care of each other, and they keep on talking about there's a brotherhood in the Navy SEAls.
Right.
There's this comradeship that's equal to their marriage.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, just because you're in the trenches with this guy, I understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
saying?
Your back.
That person has to have your back, or you're going to okay? So here's the statement, and I want to share this with you, okay? The very end of the movie, because it's based on real events, but not the whole storyline, right? Different events that have happened, they tied in a whole story of all the things they do, and I'm grateful for the people that serve our country and protect this country. Okay, he says this. Okay, I never question another brother's belief or faith. Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, your brother believes in Allah, believes in this, believes in that, believes in this. You call yourself a Christian, and okay, watch this. You're calling him your brother, okay? And so when your brother dies, your fellow Navy SEAL dies, with that false religion, your brother is going to bust open hell, and you don't want to question him on it? Let me ask you this. Let's say, okay, there's a landmine in front of your Navy SEAL brother. You see it, he doesn't. He's about 3 steps away, okay? Are you going to grab a hold of him and pull him off of that? Or are you going to let him step on the landmine? What you are, you're ignorant of the truth. Yeah. The truth being a person. Yeah. How can you say, literally, how can you say that this Navy SEAL is my brother, and I know when he dies, he's going to go to hell, and most likely, he's going to die before most people die, because he's always putting himself in harm's way. Yeah. Again, I tip off my hat to service members. Yeah. But how can you sit around calling yourself a born-again believer, calling yourself a Christian, when you know his belief system is going to send him right to hellfire? Abraham Lincoln was a good old man. He washed his head in the frying pan. How many times have I heard someone tell me how Abraham Lincoln was this great Christian? I mean, honestly, a great Christian. And once a month, his wife is worshiping Satan and conjuring demons and devils in the White House. Do you know what Trump had to do when he got into the White House? He got some people that actually believed in God to go through the entire White House and anoint it and command that Satan get out. You know why? because the previous people,
they had
they were
stuff.
worshiping the devil. They were conjuring up spirits. They were doing seances, all this stuff. And he was like, there is a very deep darkness and heaviness in this building. We got to get rid of it. And that's what he did. They went through it, and they basically cleaned house of objects, of different trinkets, and had it anointed, had it prayed for, asked God, which God? My God, to get rid of that spiritual garbage, get rid of Satan. That he had to do it.
God.
Now, here's the thing. Is Trump, is he saved? Only God can say. From the outside looking in, no. From the outside looking in, no.
But
only God knows. Ultimately, only God knows whether a person's saved or not.
Let me restore a little bit of your faith in
how can you say
military.
Someone? How can you say someone is your brother? And you're going to let him go to hell?
I'm going to bring that back to that.
Bring it back. I'm a little salty.
I recently saw a thing from the Secretary of War. They changed the name from Secretary of War.
I like it.
Secretary of War.
Like that.
They changed it back.
I like it.
Pete Hasgrove. He was saying, someone asked for a question about sending people into war and stuff, and he takes it very seriously. And he was saying what they're doing, these people who have to go across and face this, he goes, they need to have a belief in God, in Jesus, before they go, because he goes, they face possible death anytime they go into war. And he goes, we can't send them unprepared. Basically, he's like, they need to have.
Every politician uses those words.
Yeah.
Even you have all of these actors and actresses using this plural. That's pluralism.
Well,
unless he bows the knee to Jesus Christ alone. And why doesn't he use the name then?
He does pray in Jesus' name.
Using a generic name for God.
I'm like.
I know, but
I'm
see,
summarizing
what he said,
because I don't remember exactly what was spoken.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, is what I'm saying.
Charles Stanley went to one of their prayer breakfasts and he preached. You know what he preached? Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man makes it to the Father except through him. Right there, Washington is a house divided. You know why it's a house divided? Everyone's not on the same page. You have Islam, you have atheists, you have trans, you have gays, you have all these people, and here you're trying to hear from God. What did Solomon say? If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, turn from their wickedness, basically get rid of the garbage. And that's really what it is garbage. You know what I'm saying? It's satanic garbage that people aren't going to be accountable for their decisions and their life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. The Bible, it doesn't say all paths lead to God.
No.
You know, it says this, okay? There is one path that leads to God.
Yeah.
That person, which is the truth, is Jesus Christ. That's it. That's how it is. Washington, Lincoln, they're in hell. What? How can you say that? They believed in many different ways. They were hedging their bet. I mean, the proof is there. Their lifestyles. And to think they made it, they didn't make it. You know, everyone thinks all these certain people make it. They think because of what the preacher said, Al Sharpton said, Reverend Jesse Jackson. I mean, when we actually look at Martin Luther King, you know, that was shot down, you know, and then Jesse Jackson says, I was there holding him, which that's a lie. You weren't holding him. Why don't we go into this man and what he truly believed? Martin Luther, he was a child. He liked little kids. He wasn't all about God's kingdom. He was about his own kingdom. He was about equal rights. Well, what about God's equal rights? To be God over people's lives. And to bow your knee unto him. And to acknowledge the gift of his son. That's where it's at. But to say that Martin Luther, because I put R-E-V in front of his name, he's saved. He's not saved. He was not a good person. Nor was Al Sharpton. Nor is Jesse Jackson. Nor is half these clowns parading around, okay, on TV, on my tablet, telling you this, telling you that, telling you what sounds good. Ways are not my ways. What are they, Tracy?
They're higher than our ways.
They're much higher. God's kingdom is on a whole nether level. And so It's sad. It's literally sad
Yeah.
that people are coming out saying they belong to God, but saying that we need birth control for men, that we're not killing anyone when we're aborting babies because they didn't choose it. And just all of this junk. What it is they believed a lie, and now they've been sent a delusion. And the delusion is dealing with what we're talking about today. These two different camps. That's the delusion. That it all works out in the end, that you can have many gods, that God looks the other way on sin, that you don't need Jesus exclusively. That's it. Over and over and over again. That's the deception. And God just pours that out on them, And you might ask, well, why would he even do that? And Romans 9 said he made one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor. It goes on to say, what if God was willing, with much long suffering and patience, to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor, that he might make known the riches of glory on the vessel unto honor? Meaning he allows those individuals to keep on digging their hole in hellfire. Yeah. Every day when they... And when we're not talking about normally terrible people, what we're talking about is very successful people. I was watching some old school Jesus, meaning this, I think it was the 70s where it was the movie of Jesus, and that Jesus was getting it on more so than the woke Jesus of today, which I enjoy watching him too, as long as he doesn't speak, because he looks a lot like Jesus. But the old school 70s Jesus in the movie, and last night it was like this 30-minute clip, and he goes, and he's just so the part. I mean, I think he goes, "Oh, Pharisees and Sadducees, woe unto you, you whitewashed graves, you hypocrites!" And it's just calling it like it is,
Oh, my goodness.
He was like, "Who has warned you?" But I tell you what, it's sad. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, I have absolutely no respect for you as an individual, as a person, okay? If you won't warn someone that okay, is believing the wrong thing. People just don't understand how long hell is. It's a long time. It's forever.
It is. And so many times people, they're trying to bring God way down to their level, where it's like stepping over a crack in a sidewalk, instead of realizing it's more like the high bar where you had to have a pole to get over it, to vault that thing, and the pole is Jesus Christ to get you to that standard.
Yeah.
You can't do it in and of yourself. It's not just stepping over it.
Yeah, you could hey, it all works out for the Hinduism, Islam, Judaism. You don't need God, hey, all the different religions, we're just going to meet together, you know what I'm saying? And we're not going to argue. Do you know in some of these churches they won't let you argue? Can you imagine? I'm sitting next to a guy and I'm not even allowed to discuss. It's just back to that Navy SEAL movie. It's just Uncommon Valor. That's the movie, okay? In these universal churches, no single religion is promoted as the one true religion. You know what I'm saying? No. What are they? Religious pluralist. That's what they are. Multiple faiths accepted here. Well, everyone's treated equally here. All pass. I can't. You know this? Some of the churches say I can't discuss that when you take your last breath, you're going to burn in hell. I have to just accept that.
Not willing to take a stand.
Yeah. I want to improve my... No, look, I have to improve my morality.
Do you know what Jesus said? He says, if you're going to be embarrassed of my Father here and of Jesus here, my Father will be embarrassed of you when you get to heaven, basically.
Absolutely.
Basically.
And
he doesn't know you.
No, Elijah, he's dealing with it. You know what he's dealing with? Symbolic teachings. Because of the Baal worship, because of the Asherah, because of the Moloch. This is what they're doing. They're doing these symbolic teachings, the same thing Rome does, same thing that all these different, like when we look at the, I was talking yesterday about Mormonism and the baptism of the dead. Right. Their ceremony, symbolic teaching, rather than promoting a specific theology, which is Jesus Christ alone.
Yeah.
I tell you what, a day of reckoning's coming, because you can't avoid this truth that I'm talking about. Everyone quotes different truths, but that truth isn't abstract. Truth is a person. That's,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could. I can't. It's all going to work out. Well, has it worked out for everyone? It hasn't worked out.
Do you know the horrible thing is that people say, well, what, you could be wrong and I could be right. The bad thing is this, that when you find out, it's too late to make another decision, to realize, oops, my bad, I was wrong.
You see, the universal church, which is
Jesus Christ is right.
Yeah, universal church that is accepting all these different parts. You see what I'm saying? You'll have a person that is actually 100% Hindu, but they go to that church, and then another who is they're Islam, but they believe in some of the things of Christianity. I like the mercy grace thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The church will not allow you to say, "This is my God." You see what I'm saying? You can't. I can't look to you and say, "What God do you believe in?" You see what I'm saying? Oh, no. We can't. You can't do that. Okay. Yeah. It operates with a form of religious pluralism. That's what it is. All of this. And this is the Antichrist platform. Yeah, this is what happens.
It's a great setup for Satan.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is what takes place. And you can believe like you want to believe and live like you want to live. Here's the thing. God gave us freedom, free will. You can live like you want to believe. And up until the end, when you take your last breath, you will be rejected.
Do not be fooled. God is not mocked.
You want a symbol? Yeah. You know what? What did they say to Jesus? They asked, give us a symbol. Give us a sign. Give us a sign. Give us a symbol. And Jesus says, I will not. The only sign that you will get is Jonah. Meaning this, he was in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights, and then Jesus arose. Yeah. That's the sign,
His resurrection is the sign that he gave them when he had been crucified, was in the grave for 3 days. Yeah. And then he arose.
Yeah.
You
remember Dale? Dale that we were going to school with, he was a real nice guy to us. He was very nice. You know what I'm saying? He turned out to be a trans and has gotten changed into a woman. He's still a man. Every cell in his body screams he's a man, even though he feels like he's a woman. Is that crazy? Mm-hmm. When he was giving his testimony, we were at this church, was it church camp or a church retreat, maybe?
Oh, right.
A school retreat?
A retreat, yeah.
He's giving his testimony, and he's giving, his personal reflection, his interpretation of what he thought salvation was. And after he told it, because it didn't align up with Scripture, because he said he levitated, right?
Yeah.
And they said, and then they questioned him right there. They said, no, you felt like you were levitating, right? No, he says, no, I was actually levitating, okay? That's not of God. You see what I'm saying? So his personal reflection, his interpretation, what he believed doesn't matter. His experience, it doesn't matter. What matters is what Christ has spoken. What matters is the Bible. The ritual, the drama, the allegory, all these different things, trying to lure men in that are what? They're fools. And the reason they're fools is because God said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. It's not like right now, you can't do your due diligence, okay? Yeah. And whatever you're into and whatever religion, and literally go to 3 different AI models and ask them the truth, okay? Now, you're going to have to be, some of them are skewed. So you got to go to ones that are going to actually tell you the truth. But tell me why this isn't true. Tell me why my belief isn't true. Tell me why what Matt's saying here. Okay, why can't I be a get along, go along, coexist kind of person? In the term. See, in most of the other religions you can. It's just this in Christianity you can't. The metaphors, the moral classes, the bettering of oneself. It doesn't work. Okay, because you have to present that to the person of Jesus Christ. God the Father sent his only begotten Son. If he thought there was any other way, I don't think he would have sent his only begotten Son to die brutal death.
No.
And many people, other religions, they say this. Well, even Islam, they say, no, Jesus is a great teacher.
Yeah.
He's a great teacher. No, he's not. C.S. Lewis said, Jesus said he was God. That's not a great teacher. That's God. He either said he was God or he's a lunatic.
Yeah,
a great teacher is never going to say he's God if he's not.
Yeah.
Okay? That would mean he was a bad teacher. He either is what he said he was.
And telling the truth. Or he's a liar.
Yeah.
Or a lunatic.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that's enough. I think we beat up everyone. And I hope that you are sold out on Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life.
Yes.
I hope you have not dabbled in the things of this world and allowed other people to influence you in a negative manner.
And if you have, you can always ask the Lord to help you, to forgive you, and to get you back on the right track.
Can I ask you this? You know what, Tracy will tell you the truth. When I'm watching people pray, I normally, when they're praying the opening prayer and the ending prayer, I can tell you whether I want to watch the sermon or not. You know what? Because I want someone to pray.
Oh, and you're watching on a video or something.
I want someone to not pray a general prayer and read a prayer.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want someone that knows the God that they're praying to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at Isaiah, oh wretched, or Paul, oh wretched man that I am.
Yeah.
Look at Isaiah, you know what I'm saying? I'm undone.
I want to mention real quick, we watched this one video of this guy starting his sermon, and when he said, let me start with the prayer, he goes and he gets down on his knees in front of the congregation, right there by the podium, and it was praying, and it was from his heart, and you're just like, oh.
Prayers are not general. They're not read.
No.
Do you see what I'm saying?
They're from the heart.
They're from the heart. It's because you know the God that's going to save you, that you love, that you're willing to give your life for. Why give my life, you see what I'm saying, for anything else other than Jesus Christ? You know, the Bible's clear about it. Some people would maybe dare to give it to a righteous man, but Jesus died when we were unrighteous. He took my sins, he took all my failures, and he gave me his imputed righteousness. And now the Father sees me through the prism of the Son. The only thing that's acceptable to God is God. All the other stuff that you're talking about and people are talking about, you're going to present to a holy God, and you're going to find out what you just offered is rejected.
I remember we were at a church, and you were filling in at the time, and sometimes you would, while you were waiting to preach and you were up there sitting in a chair behind, you would sometimes turn around quietly and then pray on the church.
Turn around on the chair and be praying.
On your knees. With your head on the chair.
Bad church.
And I remember...
No way to know it's a bad church until you get into the church.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. There's no way to understand the overall arching belief system.
Yeah.
But when the Bible talks about Jude, men secretly sneaking in, it is not kidding.
I remember...
They are so blinded. The things that I learned, okay, because Mommy took me to Sunday school and dropped me off, and I got my Kool-Aid and my 2 cookies, okay. The things I learned in Sunday school... it's just crazy that nobody has taught any of these people. They have no idea what they believe is wrong.
But what I was going to say was that one person had come up to you, a woman
said not to.
Yeah, she said it's kind of distracting.
That I'm praying.
That he was praying on his knees, and I thought, are you kidding? I thought it was almost like a testimony as to where this person's heart was, you know?
Yeah.
And it really kind of caught me off guard to hear them saying that, and it's again what you're saying, how it shows you.
And you know what?
And you were saying that you don't know until you go to a church, because it's back to the 10 plagues where 9 of those could all be...
Everything can be faked.
Can be faked.
It all
can be copied.
Faked. You can't fake. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you can't fake out is the Spirit of God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? People think they're always tricky and sneaky. They can't. The busybody, the whisperer, the person who's just always in your junk, the person who's trying to be a good person, but not because that's who they are on the inside. You know what I'm saying? God's given them a new heart. God's given them a new life. God's made them born again. Yeah. They're just actors and actresses. Under enough pressure, every one of us crack. Okay?
Yeah.
When we crack, and I've cracked before many times, I go back and I was like, Lord, I blew it. Forgive me.
Yeah.
Other people don't have that option because he's not their God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mormonism, they say my Jesus is the half-brother of Satan. I don't think so, Mormonism. I think that whole thing, okay, Pepsi included, you're all going to burn in hell. Not because God wants it, but this is the life that you've chosen, you know? I mean, it doesn't take much going back and realizing that Joseph Smith was a sexual deviant. He had a real problem. When we go back to freaking the other, I can't even remember. I'm so tired right now. I need coffee. You know what I'm saying? Jehovah's Witnesses. Where did it come from? You know, where did this belief come from? It came from darkness. It came from, it's denying Christ.
Yeah.
You know, Islam, denying Christ. They say he's a teacher. He's not. Baal, you know what I'm saying? Denying Christ. Asherah, Moloch, Hinduism, all of it. Every one of these religions denying Christ because Satan loves the thought of people following, okay?
Him.
You know what I'm saying? Up until their last breath. And then he laughs at him.
Yep.
Where God's arms have been open wide this whole time.
Yes.
He's been trying to lure you in, not force you, but show you the truth. But you've believed. It says the pig returns to its vomit. Yeah. And that's what takes place. Okay? Friends, I want you to ignore the Navy SEALs that say don't question another man's faith. Do you know why I'm not a chaplain right now? Do you guys know the story on this?
Yeah.
Okay. I applied, to be a chaplain because I thought, you know what? I can be a chaplain, and where I was going to work at this humongous hospital, I was going to make decent money. Yeah. Okay? It's not about the money, but here's the thing. We all have bills.
But you could share Jesus.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was like,
with these people
and
in the hospital,
I mean, we all have bills, and I want to say thank you. I have 3 people in the man cave who support me. Bob, Trey, and Gina. Yeah. Thank you for that. But I remember when I was talking, and I'm a shoo-in because I have my degrees. You know what I'm saying? I have an understanding of, and then they said, now, remember, you can't talk to someone about your religion if they're another religion.
Yeah, we start reading all these.
And I was like, what are you talking about? They go, you're going to have to lead them in a prayer, an Islamic prayer. You have to be very general and just bring them peace. I thought to myself, you want me to bring them 2 minutes peace, 5 minutes peace, 15 minutes peace, and then they close their eyes in death, believing a lie, enter into eternity in hellfire because I didn't tell them the truth? I was like, are you out of your freaking mind? I'm going to tell them where the power is, and I'm going to lay hands on them, and if I can anoint them and God is willing, he'll raise them up. You know what I'm saying? And he'll heal them. It reminds me of this woman, and there was this whore, and the woman worked at the cardiac unit, and they had all but washed off the whore because she had syphilis, she had AIDS, she was dying. But the woman, she would, I think her name was Polly, she would go in every night during her lunch break, eat her sandwich in this woman's room that's hooked to 1 million monitors, and just pray for her and preach to her. Basically read the Bible to her. Yeah. Jesus loves you. You know what I'm saying? I know you can hear me. I know you can hear me. Jesus has a purpose and a plan for your life. And this went on for like 3 weeks to a month, right?
Yeah, it was a long time.
A long time. And then finally, Polly, she's off because she's doing 12s, right? She's off for like 2-3 days. When she comes in, she goes to go to her room, and the room's empty. Yeah. And her heart sinks. She thinks she died. She's
finally
just
died this time.
She finally
she'd been in and out of that hospital
she's
for
been
several
in
times.
and out. I mean, she's like, oh my gosh, she's dead. And she's just sitting there, and she's kind of twisted a little bit. It's like a part of you is lost. And this other guy comes up, this preacher, that would walk around, and he was from a local church. And he walked around, and he was like, did you hear what happened? And she was like, no, with so-and-so. And she was like, oh, I think she died. You know what I'm saying? She goes, no, she didn't die. She came out of a coma and demanded that I come up here at 3:00 in the morning and talk to her about Jesus Christ. She said that she saw this woman with white hair in this gown speaking to her and preaching to her. And she didn't know whether she was an angel or what, but she was just always telling her that God loved her and God had a purpose and a plan for her life.
Just cry out to Jesus.
She kept on saying, all you need to do is cry out to Jesus. Even now, I know you can hear me. Cry out to Jesus. And I know you're not familiar with him, but Jesus is God. And so in her coma, she cries out to Jesus, comes out of the coma, calls for the preacher that's always there. The preacher leads her to the Lord. She's good enough to walk out of the hospital. In 2 days, they were committing her to death.
Yeah.
She walks out of the hospital, lives another 3 years, evangelizing, got out of that lifestyle, but eventually
telling everybody
about the love of Jesus and everything.
And how real it really is.
What we do echoes on throughout eternity.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes we don't even realize
the good that we're doing. And I always think of Seamus. I get pictures once a week, and I don't share the pictures. Seamus has a doctor's uniform, with a stethoscope.
Stethoscope.
I can't pronounce it. He has a white shirt like a doctor, and the owner takes him to nursing homes with his stethoscope and his white shirt. I don't know if he has a badge. It says Dr. Seamus, but he walks up, and I get once a week, every 2 weeks, I get the new pictures of Seamus at the nursing homes.
Seamus is a dog, by the way, an Irish setter.
And the people are just petting Seamus, and they love all of his outfits, and it's therapy. Well, let me just tell you this, okay? It takes something to get the uniform on Seamus. I guarantee that.
I bet it does.
Okay, you got to clean Seamus up because he loves running in the mud. You got to get him there. Okay, you got to feed him. But that's this gentleman's. Okay, it's his ministry and his dog's ministry. Yeah. I hope one day, when you're standing in line, the Seamus hasn't done more than you've done. Seamus and his owner, they're always about God's agenda, God's business.
Yeah.
It would. Can you imagine getting beat by a dog?
Oh my goodness.
And what? Oh, I don't have the time. You don't have the time? Man, I'm not a preacher, nor am I. I'm not a missionary, nor am I. You know what I am? One crying in the wilderness. I don't have any enemies, but I have lots of people that think I'm their enemy. I'm just telling you that there's only one way to heaven. You're so mad at me. You're so pissed off. You can't even see sideways because I'm trying to tell you Jesus loves you. God the Father sent his only begotten Son, and he's not going to share you and, his Son with you and everything else in this world. I think Elijah said it best. Choose this day whom you're going to serve. Yeah. And Joshua said something very similar. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord, okay? Everything is not going to be accepted. It's not. Don't think about these people you think are in heaven. A lot of them are not in heaven. They're not. Abraham Lincoln? No. George Washington? No. More so, Abraham Lincoln. Why? Because he died in that state very quickly because he was shot. He was assassinated.
Yeah, he didn't have time to think.
He didn't have time.
I'm not a joke. I'm not trying to make a pun there.
No, he got shot in the head. He didn't have time to repent. Didn't have time to say, hey, I got it wrong. Yeah. He lived in that belief system until a bullet went into his head, okay, and he died. Yeah. That's how he lived, okay?
Very quickly.
So, George Washington, I don't know the end of his life. I hope at the end of his life said, hey, I got it wrong, Lord. It's Jesus. It's Jesus. It's only Jesus.
And let me tell you a quick story
about
a person that was just adamant against it. That was Charles Darwin, the creator of Darwinism.
Oh, on his deathbed, what happened?
On his deathbed, his wife wrote this book and said he was so sorry. He was wrong.
Yeah, he was crying out. Yeah. This leading atheist that's been around for a long time just died within the last 5 years. A terrible person, just attacking Christianity, right? As he's dying, okay, of whatever, I think it was cancer, okay? Hell's gates are opened up, and he's seeing it, man, and he's screaming about that. Now, this is a guy that thought, there's no God. Yeah, it's just the turning off of a switch, just like the Apple, the original, you know what I'm saying?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he says, it's just, when you die, it's just the turning off of a switch. It's not. Nope. This so-called number one atheist, been all over the world, been to all these universities, telling people, live however you want. This is all there is. When he's dying, the gates of hell were open, and he's seeing the demons, and he's screaming, I was wrong, I'm sorry. Too late, partner, that's not repentance. I'm wrong. No, that's not repentance. That's not, Lord, forgive me.
Jesus, save me.
Jesus, save me. Everything he said was about, I was wrong. Good, you were wrong. What does that mean? I'm wrong all the time, okay? I'm just not wrong about Jesus. Okay? I'm not wrong about Jesus.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And when you read the transcript, it is so scary of what he describes him seeing, these creatures, these beings, these fangs, this darkness, this place, this utter dread. It just hideous, and he's just it's like when we've gone to people that were dying and they held to the lie, they held to the secret, you know what I'm saying? And we have no idea if people are telling us the truth. And then when they start to die, their feet start to run in bed. How many times have we? I think this is like 4, 5, 6 times. You know what I'm saying? Remember the one lady, we were talking to her, and she was telling us about her husband, and her son was a doctor, and her son said, "Oh, let me explain it to you." And then she told me, and she goes, "It never sat right with what my son was telling me, what was happening. He was fearful. He was scared. He was running like someone was chasing him with an axe. He was very frightened, and this guy had been sick with cancer for 6 months. He's in hospice. He's morphined out, and now he said she thought he broke the bed. He was moving his legs so hard up and down. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of different things, but I'll leave it at that. But here's the thing: obviously, that doesn't lie, and you can't. The son was trying, which is a doctor, tried to tell her, "Oh no, that's
okay.
It's okay. It's not okay."
He's running to Jesus.
That's not running to Jesus. Okay, that's running from the demons and the devils because you believed a lie.
Yeah, and I remember this old lady that there was some of us around her bed, and she was a frail lady, and her feet were just going. All of a sudden she just started running.
I'd never seen anything like it. She had to have been, 96, 95, somewhere
80s, 90s.
Late 80s, 90s. And frail. Yeah. Frail. And man, when she, oh my God, it scared me. Because all of a sudden she starts moaning and screaming, you know what I'm saying, and running. I mean, if you're laying down, but you're running as if you're standing up. And her legs are just pounding the bed. Bang, 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 bang. Entering into hell.
Yeah.
And you would think, and here's the thing, let me just say this. From the outside, very sweet woman.
Yeah.
Very sweet woman. Very kind, very nice. After doing her funeral, reading the obituary, right there, written, seeing her life, and I'm fine, I understand this, your family, you're this, you this, and then all of a sudden, there was one line in that obituary, and that explained it all. I just knew. I mean, I just okay, you cannot
put your faith alone in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, that's what you need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what you need to do. Put your faith alone and keep your eyes focused on Him.
Yeah. And
let Him keep you on the right path. So, Lord, please help me to stay with you. Grab me by the belt loops.
Grab me by the belt loops. Okay, kid. You like Mission Impossible, Trace? Let's end here.
Well, my favorite is 4. It's Ghost Protocol, and they're in Dubai, and he's having to do that thing. You hate this part where he's hanging basically up on the top of the building, having to go up to a server room on the outside, and it's just really cool. It's a fun one.
In Mission Impossible 1, anyone, I'm going to stop here. Okay, this is the very first one, and there's Job 314. Yeah, and so here you have Ethan Hunt. He's lost his whole team. They've been basically murdered. Okay? Yeah. And he's in this room. It was the safe house. And he's on the internet. And the internet had just come out, basically. You can tell. And he's looking for Job 314, Job 314, Job 314. He's trying to communicate, figure it out. But it's not Job 314. It's Job 3:14. And here's what it says. With kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves. You know what it talks about? It's talking about the greatest of men, the greatest of actors and actresses, of presidents. You know what I'm saying? People that just, you follow them, you listen to them. It's talking about the Trumps. It's talking about the Putins. It's talking about this movie star or that movie star. It's talking about the George Clooney's. All these people who have notoriety, okay? With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves. Meaning this, all that they had as far as influence, power, money, houses, jewelry, watches, everything, yachts, okay? You look at Benzo. You know what I'm saying? You look at Musk. You look at all these people. You know what I'm saying? Billionaires, close to trillionaires. Okay. With the kings and counselors of the earth, which build desolate places for themselves. See, they never sent the wood ahead. Remember the song?
Oh.
Where's all the lumber? Yeah. Where's all the lumber? Where's all the lumber? You said. Looks like the builder.
When you got to heaven, yeah.
Looks like the builder. He has your number. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What it means is the only one thing was required, and all the things that men do to better themselves or to do charitable acts or to refine themselves means nothing. Your whole life, according to this verse, means nothing. You would have been better, according to Solomon, okay, never having been born, rather to have just missed this one thing. Solomon said it. You would have been better not to have been stillborn. Even Job says it. You know what I'm saying? You would have been better not being born than to have lived this life and conquered all of the dragons, conquered, Wall Street, conquered this, conquered that, been the best that you can be, but with kings and counselors of the earth which build desolate places for themselves, it's all in vain. It's literally all in vain. Because the one thing you needed to do was just believe exclusively on Jesus Christ and nothing else. Jesus said, if you gain the whole world and lose your soul, what have you gained?
Yeah.
What have you gained? And finally, Ethan Hunt finally gets it. This is Job. So he looks up Job 3:1-4, and he looks into a Gideon Bible, right?
Yeah.
But what's so funny is the Gideon Bible was from the Drake Hotel. It was the Clues. It was the Cookie Crumbs. It was the Ebenezer's. The Drake Hotel. With the Drake Hotel, he starts putting one and one together and coming up with two, and he's like, oh, everything isn't as I was told. There's a mystery.
As it seems.
Yeah, it's not as it seems. There's a mystery going on here. There's deception. There's lies. Right?
There's
and he finally
more than meets the eye here.
There's more than meets the eye. God isn't trying to hide his truth from you.
No.
He's not trying to add to it through a secret code. He's asking you just to come as you are and ask him into your heart to start believing. Yeah. Exclude everything else and everyone else. And if not, well, I still love you. I really do. Tracy and I love you, and we pray for you. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.